Hey there, and welcome to my channel, The Paper Bag Investor. Today's video is going to be more specifically for Canadians, which I am a Canadian, and we're going to talk about why paying off your mortgage is financially irresponsible if you have room in your tax-free savings account, at least from my perspective. And sorry for that kind of extreme clickbaity title, but I think there's actually a lot of truth to that. I'm going to explain that in this video, that if you have room available in your tax-free savings account, it's financially foolish to pay off your mortgage faster than the terms you signed for that mortgage. And I'll be explaining that in detail in this video. So let's get into it. And before I go much further, I want to give a quick disclaimer that I am not a financial advisor. I'm a guy with a paper bag on his head who loves investing and thinking about the future. If you love investing, you love thinking about the future, especially even if you're Canadian, because a lot of my content is going to be for Canadians specifically, then I encourage you hit that subscribe button down below and follow along, become a better investor with me as this channel grows. And also want to really quickly say, if there's anything in my video or any of my videos that doesn't make sense, that you don't agree with or you do agree with, or a question you have, let me know in the comments down below. I read all the comments and I try to reply to as many as possible. But back to the topic for today. Here's the problem I see. Many Canadians are fast-track paying off their mortgage. Most mortgages have terms that allow a certain amount to be paid off faster each year. And a lot of financial advisors, even if you go talk to a financial advisor, they'll show you the math of how much interest you'll save over your 25 or 30-year mortgage if you make fast-track payments. And they'll encourage you to do that. And really, if you have the extra money, it's not a bad financial move. It's better than just sitting in a savings account or a checking account, doing nothing that money. But in my opinion, it's much, much smarter to put that extra money into your tax-free savings account if you have tax-free savings account room. And many people do have extra contribution room in their tax-free savings account, and they're just not using it. And like I said, many of these same people, they might have an extra $6,000 a year and they put that towards their mortgage rather than putting it into a tax-free savings account and investing that money. So let's compare these two things, these two actions you could take: paying off your mortgage faster or putting more money into a tax-free savings account or your Tfsa and investing that money, okay? So say you have a $300,000 mortgage, and of course you make your mortgage payments and you're paying off a portion of interest and a portion of principal with each payment. But say you have an extra $6,000 and you decide to put it towards your mortgage as an extra payment, like I've been saying. Basically, all you're saving with this extra $6,000 is the interest rate for the mortgage over time, which is typically these days is under 3%. And even right now, when I'm making this video in 2020, in the situation we're in right now, I've seen mortgage rates are under 2% being advertised. So basically, you could think of it as getting 2 or 3% annual return on that $6,000. And personally, in my opinion, 2 or 3% on an investment is really, really bad, and you should keep looking for a better investment. That's my opinion. That's horrible. You're going to barely beat inflation with that. But that's essentially the amount you are gaining or the amount you're saving by paying off your mortgage faster, since you're basically erasing borrowed money on your mortgage, but that borrowed money is borrowed at that 2 or 3% rate, whatever your mortgage rate is. Now, what if instead you had tax-free savings account room and you put that money into your Tfsa and invested it? For example, the stock market on average has returned about 8% per year since its inception. And say you're able to make an average of 8% a year investing in the stock market. Maybe that's index funds, maybe that's individual stocks, whatever the case. Let's use that 8% number. Because the gains you make in a tax-free savings account are tax-free and they compound tax-free, they keep growing on this all tax-free, everything that grows inside of there, you can compare this rate of return directly to your mortgage savings as kind of an apples-to-apples comparison. Because on the mortgage side, you're really just saving money that you would have spent on interest, but you could still put that money into a Tfsa if you have the room and be gaining money tax-free as well. It would be different if the tax-free savings account wasn't tax-free and you paid taxes on any returns. Then it'd be different because you'd have to take that account that into account when you compare the two returns you're getting from that versus the savings from the mortgage. But because it's tax-free, you can just compare those together. And you basically have to say to yourself, if I can beat my mortgage rate and I have room in my tax-free savings account, why am I not putting more money into my tax-free savings account? And to me, over the span of time that you're talking for mortgage, 20, 30 years, it's very easy to beat that 2 or 3% in the stock market. I'm not trying to brag, but in the last 12 years or so in my investing journey, I've been able to return over 20% per year compound annual growth rate through my tax-free savings account investments. And my goal is to meet or exceed that number in the next decade. That's what I'm really aiming and hoping to do with my investments there. So to beat 2 or 3% per year to me is very, very easy. There's years you might lose a little bit of money, but overall, when you're talking 20, 30 years that you'd be comparing sort of a mortgage lifespan to, it's very easy to beat a low rate like that. Like I said, you could probably buy some index funds, and over the next several decades, you might return 8% or something in that ballpark that the stock market has done. So just to reiterate, as long as you have room in your tax-free savings account and you think you can beat your mortgage rate, you really should put the money in the tax-free savings account. And I'm going to show you a little bit of math just to clarify this. Say you had $10,000 and you had that in tax-free savings account and you could make 8% a year on that money. Then after 20 years, you'd actually have $46,609, so about 4.5 times your initial investment. But if you took that same $10,000 and you put it against your mortgage that say had an interest rate of 2.5%, and you look at your savings by doing that, your savings in 20 years' time, say over 20 years of the mortgage, you'd actually only have $16,386 saved from the $10,000. So you're only saving maybe $6,386 over that whole 20 years. The point I'm making is this difference in return, whether you're saving 2.5%, 3%, or say you put it into an investment and you can make 8% or more per year in your tax-free savings account, this bigger return makes a huge difference over 10 years, 20 years, over the life of mortgage. So the key here is that I really want to hammer home is that if you have contribution room in your tax-free savings account, or maybe your spouse has room in their tax-free savings account, and you think you can beat your mortgage rate through your own investments, then you should put your money into the tax-free savings account. And in my opinion, it's not hard to beat that mortgage rate, especially at rates that are right now even under 2%, especially when you're looking at a time horizon over 10 years, 20 years that might be typical for a mortgage. And if you want to beat that rate, then the key is to become a better investor. And the way to become a better investor is to continually learn. And if you want to learn more about how to do the best with your investments, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button down below and follow along with my channel as my channel grows and become a better investor with me. One other quick point I want to make is that if you look down the road, would I either have, say, a $300,000 mortgage paid off fully, or would I rather have $300,000 in a tax-free savings account? For me, I would take the tax-free savings account scenario any day. And why is that? That's because the tax-free savings account you can keep snowballing and compounding tax-free in your investments. With a mortgage that's fully paid off and that house you own, even if you say sold that house and put that money into a non-registered account, investment account, you're going to pay tax on that money and any returns on that money, capital gains on that money for the rest of your life. Or say you turn that house into a rental house and you rented it out, you're going to pay sort of an investment that way. You're still going to pay income tax on any income you earn from that rental house. But the other scenario where you just had $300,000 in a tax-free savings account, you can keep growing and snowballing that big sum of money into an even larger sum of money that's still tax-free. These are some of the reasons why tax-free savings accounts get me so excited and really think that more Canadians got to be really capitalizing on this and trying to maximize their tax-free savings account. And I mean, this all kind of brings up the question I was sort of wondering, why don't people do this strategy that I'm talking about? I mean, maybe a big reason is one, people just don't have the knowledge. But also, too, I think many people have kind of a mental hang up that they want to pay off their mortgage, and it's kind of like a checkbox they're trying to check off and complete in their mind. But in my opinion, this is really not the most fundamental proper thinking. It's really improper thinking. Your money is money, and you should really try to think carefully from a first principles perspective how you can maximize it and maximize your investments over a span of time. For me, who cares if I carry a mortgage for the rest of my life, but I have a tax-free savings account that grows to a very large sum and would be worth much, much more than just that mortgage amount would have ever been worth. To me, that's much more valuable, and the future incomes from that tax-free savings account as it grows could easily pay off that mortgage over time if I even wanted it to. So anyways, that about wraps up this video. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope this really clarified why it's so valuable to try and maximize your tax-free savings account. If you enjoyed it, if you got value out of this video, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button down below and follow along with my journey as I grow this channel and become a better investor with me. And while you're hitting that subscribe button, do me a favor, hit that like button as well. It really helps me out, helps my channel grow. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.